In this lesson titled Hiding and Unhiding Rows and Columns, we're in Workbook Lesson 05, Layout Features, and we're on the Hide and Unhide tab. From time to time in Excel, it's useful to hide columns or hide rows. One example might be a presentation you're making where you don't want anyone to see what the commission rates are and the total commissions for your salesman. That information we have right here on column K and on column L. So to hide columns is really pretty straightforward. You simply right-click on the column header and you choose Hide down here almost at the very bottom, and I choose Hide and it disappears. Now it leaves behind a little clue that it has been hidden. One of the more obvious clues is that we just skipped a letter in the alphabet. We went from J to L. But also you'll see it left something behind. I'm going to zoom in a little bit by tapping my plus icon down in the bottom corner in the zoom bar. And I'm going to click that a couple times. We're going to come up to, say, 140%. And you can see right here there's a little double thin line that shows us we have a hidden column. Now this can be a little frustrating how to unhide columns. So you might think, well, I need to right click on that, but it can be very difficult to get just the right one. You can see we've actually highlighted J, so unhide doesn't do anything. I come over here and try unhide and L is already visible, so it didn't unhide. The trick is that you need to select the column on the left and the right of the column that's hidden. And to do that, you simply click and drag. So now both columns are highlighted. Then on either side, I could right click and choose Unhide. Basically what I told it to do was unhide this range, and the K was part of that range. So let's try something else. Since we're talking about making multiple selections, let's say we want to hide all of these. So I click on K and I drag to L, so they're both selected. I right click and I choose Hide. We see here that these are hidden. We learned earlier about a feature called Best Fit, where you get a double cursor arrow between any two columns and you double click and you get a best fit. So for instance over here, if I make that skinnier here, I can't quite see the word Monday, but off to the right, if I double click between these two, I get a best fit and it fits it just perfectly to match everything. Well, that's also true for unhiding. It's part of best fit. If I was to select these two, I could double click any of them that are selected and it would unhide it. But also, if you were to discover that you maybe had lots of columns, maybe some of them are way out here at like 300 or 500 columns later, some are hidden, and you just want to get them all unhidden at once, remember that we do have the select all icon all the way over here to the left. I can click on that. It selects all my columns and all my rows, and I can just do a best fit anywhere in here. I'll come over here between P and Q and double click, and these are now unhidden. So we can select everything and choose unhide. Well, let's take a look over here at rows, kind of the same thing. I might decide that we want these first 5 or so not to be seen. So I can come over here. In fact, why don't we just select all of these, because I'm also going to get rid of all this data here. And I just simply right click after making a multiple selection and choose hide, and all of that's gone. Again, I can select all as one of my choices and double click on best fit anywhere along here, double click, and it all comes back. So just remember, to unhide you need to select at least one on each side, if not more, before you double click for best fit or right click and choose unhide.